Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Afrikaners seek new pact with the government on the eve of the 30th anniversary of democracy. A group of Afrikaner organizations and individuals has called for formal engagement with the government in a cultural accord to address issues of concern to Afrikaners. The Afrikaner Leadership Network, including groups such as AfriForum, released a statement saying that it had been prompted to speak out by the crisis the country and the Afrikaner community are currently facing. In 1994, when apartheid ended and a Black government came into power, it seems the Afrikaner community and the Afrikaner culture got lost within the trenches of freedom. While for the past 30 years, Afrikaners have campaigned through various organizations for the protection of Afrikaners' rights and freedom and have contributed to the welfare of the country. But with recent events that turned our country to what it is today, the Afrikaner community feel like there is no collective approach. They can't state their point of view with one voice against an increasingly distant and hostile government. And as a result, several Afrikaner organizations have taken matters into their own hands to get things done and also to be self-sufficient and independent of the state and the government because they had no choice. You know what? I hate to be this person. I hate to be this person right now, but how does it feel to be on the other side where you are no longer a priority? The government doesn't live to serve you and essentially your privileges are gone. How does it feel? Because there was once a time where Black people were in your position. The difference is that you have a voice. You have various organizations that had a pact or an understanding with the government to always look out for your interests when they gained power in 1994. And I think the ANC have been doing that pretty well, not just for the Afrikaner community, but also to your fellow white people. Prior to 1994, we never had that pact. In fact, people were detained for having organizations that had the Black people's interests at heart. With the various issues we are currently facing in South Africa, how does recognizing or revisiting a pact that was made in 1994 for the Afrikaner people help the current state of the country? How does it help the country to move forward? How do we benefit? In an article I read on Sunday Times, the Afrikaner community supported a republic ideal, which meant a desire to make and implement their own decisions about their own communities. They say they are a group without cultural freedom, so they want the government to give them cultural zones where there is a density of Afrikaners. The point is that Afrikaners say if we have a good government, we have space for Afrikaner school and cultural organizations, we will vote for the ANC. I had to read this statement a couple of times just to make sure that I understood what they're saying.
I am not voting for one specific reason. I do not think that we have a right to decide what the future must look like. I do not think that white people have earned the forgiveness of Black South Africans to vote and make that decision. That is me paraphrasing.
I am not voting for one specific reason. I do not think that we have the right to decide what the future must be at this stage. That's my personal belief. I do not believe white people has earned the forgiveness yet to make decisions about the direction of the country. That is my view. I think there's a lot of people that will not agree with me, but that's the way I feel. It's if I now like the EFF or not, if the majority people believe that the way to go is the EFF, then I feel I must abide by that, because you cannot comprehend what happened in 300 years, and for that say, okay, but now it's your time also to decide, because everybody is now free. Everybody is not free. Everything is not equal. My supervisor is still not getting the right pay. They will either appoint an old man of literally 75 with no experience to do a job above my supervisor if I'm not available, instead of giving it to him. Things will not be equal in the next 30 years. Now, the reason I'm doing voice notes to you is there's no space or time to do all this on a comment section. So I'm just, that's why I call it the rambling of a middle-aged white man. But some of the stuff might help you to better comprehend how some of our dear nation is thinking.
So let me get this clear. The Afrikaner government wants the ANC to pamper them, push their agendas, make them comfortable and gut them to make them feel safe in exchange for votes. Sounds to me like they want their own little Orania, an all-white Afrikaner town. These Afrikaner organizations and their leader, Thabo Mbeki, came under the guise of the country is in such a crisis. We as the Afrikaner people, we want to help combat and fix the country so everyone can live in harmony, have access to equal opportunities, access to quality health and education, and live in a democracy where everyone benefits. But firstly, put Afrikaners and their agenda forward. Prioritize us. Give us a huge chunk of land for Afrikaners only, and we will help you resolve the current dire state of the country. This is what I'm getting at. This is how I decipher it. This is how I understand it. To further dig in the knife, the Afrikaner community and their organizations feel like the post-1994 South African laws reduce Afrikaners to second-class citizens, leading to unequal citizenship. They feel like their voices are not heard because they are still being blamed for apartheid, which they never had a hand in because it happened before they were born.
This is a conversation that we started yesterday morning and we're continuing it today. The Afrikaner Leadership Network asking to join hands with the government as well as other civil society organizations to help fix some of the issues in the country. Now, the celebration of 30 years of democracy in South Africa has prompted the group to go public with the pledge. The the Thabo Mbeki Foundation is among some of the organizations that have engaged the Afrikaner Leadership Network. Yesterday, we spoke to Dr. Reneilwe from the Afrikaner Leadership Network. Let's get expert analysis.
But today your children can go on live Instagram and call a black person the K word, the kafir word. I think in America it is also known as the N word. You can't be blamed for apartheid, but you're still the biggest benefiters of them all. Today our state is unequal with the odds favoring you. The minority still owns South Africa. Our lands have not been returned to us. You want land to practice Afrikaner culture? Look in your trust fund account. Surely you can find something. Surely you can, you can dig in your trust fund and you can find a land. You want government leaders to be held accountable for what they are doing today, but you don't want to acknowledge the part you played in apartheid in shaping South Africa to what it is today? We are not going to do with the double standards. I am not even going to tolerate the double standard. I am tired of hearing, I wasn't born yet, so I can't take accountability. You say you want channels to communicate with the government. I feel like every culture wants that. The Afrikaners are not special. Pedis don't like how the government runs things. I am sure Zulus don't like it either. So does the Vendas, the Tsongas, the Xhosas, the Ndebeles, the Tswanas, and the Sotho, and everybody. Everybody wants that channel of communication with the government, but we're just not getting it. So what makes you special? You guys, in this democracy, we gave you a hand, but now you want the whole body. In my opinion, I think white people have not earned the right to vote or to have opinions on how this country should move forward. They haven't earned the right to make decisions that will impact our country. That is just my opinion. What do you think about this Afrikaner Pact that they so desperately want from our government? What do you make out of this? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Reneilwe Morema. It has been an absolute pleasure.